Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. Coming up, we head to Grant Thorold in Grimsby to check out the new community hub. And we've a new celebrity interviewer, George Kavanagh, and he caught up with Hull comedian Lucy Beaumont to talk about her career. Welcome to Estuary News. I'm Emma Lingard. Now it's time for the news headlines.
It's been reported that shocked eyewitnesses heard armed police warn they were ready to shoot as they entered a house in North Bransholme on Tuesday afternoon. Around 12 officers armed with guns and bulletproof vests took part in the raid at a property in Navenby Grove. Humberside police say the raid was not connected to the shooting incident at McDonald's car park on Saturday. North East Lincolnshire Council is urging pet owners to be on their guard. In the wake of several reports of poisoning on Cleethorpes Beach, they are recommending that dogs be kept on their leads after a number of cases proved to be fatal. And a 10-minute monologue marked the 75th anniversary of Amy Johnson's death. The Hull-born aviator was the first woman to fly solo to Australia. She died in a plane crash in 1941 and her body has never been found. Rachel Harris, who portrayed Amy in the monologue, says she is an inspiration to women around the world.
It's a lot more important than I realised. The message of the piece is, I think, to just do what you want to do and follow your dreams. I'm really lucky I got to do this. That's a part of my dream, to act, and she did hers, and I think that's what's so important for everyone to understand. And obviously there's a very strong message about women and, you shouldn't be held back by your gender.
East Riding of Yorkshire Council is backing a national campaign encouraging parents to get sugar smart and take control of their children's sugar intake. It comes after news that 4 to 10-year-olds consume an estimated 5,500 sugar cubes a year. Currently, 1 in 5 4 to 5-year-olds are overweight or obese in Yorkshire and the Humber. And Humberside police are urging people to get new gifts they've received over Christmas registered for free. They say the crime prevention step will mean if new property is lost or stolen, it can be quickly identified when it is recovered and returned to the rightful owner, as well as potentially catching a criminal in possession of stolen goods. And the moped rider who filmed Ronnie Pickering's road rage rant in Hull has had another standoff with a driver. Steve Middleton has uploaded footage of the motorist who was behind the wheel of a black BMW, repeatedly swearing at him. It was filmed on his helmet camera and is now on YouTube. And that's the latest from the news.
After taking on Humberston Library last January, the not-for-profit organisation Your Community Hub has taken on another site in need of revival. Grant Thorold Library was in danger of closure, but now Nathan and Melissa Taylor have taken over, looking to kick on from their success in Humberston, offering more than just books. Dan Kemp went along to find out more.
After many months of campaigning, the new venue is now open. It offers your more traditional library fare, books and computers, but also brings in a retail and dining experience. Nathan Taylor is a director of Your Community Hub.
Getting kids involved with books from an early age, i.e. up at Humberston, the Gingerbread House, we utilise baby yoga facilities, so children from as young as 12 months upwards are doing baby yoga in the children's area. So they're already they're already participating, picking up books. Okay, they might just be looking at a few pictures, but they're touching, feeling the books there. So that's important, to get children engaged with books from an early age.
And Nathan is delighted with the interest already being shown in the latest venture.
We've invited a number of people here. As you can see from behind me, we've got quite a large turnout, a bit more than we anticipated. This is just about a consultation between now, probably up until Easter, about gathering what people want to see developed in this community hub. We know they will want a library service. We know that from the findings from North East Links Council. We know they want a retail space. We know they want a cafe space. But we just need to know a bit more detail about whether they actually want a tea room, do they want a coffee lounge, what type of cafe facility, refreshment facilities, what type of retail space do they want to see. We also want to know what community group activities they want going on, baby yoga, kinetics, all them sort of bits and bobs as well that we really need. It's important for us to understand what they want before we start bringing them services in.
And Councillor Steve Bazant has big plans for the site and the park the community hub currently stands in.
What I've talked about is a pocket park on the perimeter as such, a nature environment for the youngsters to really explore nature as such. Hopefully, who knows, in a few years' time, the social enterprise might be taking over the full park, and there might be a different feel to the park as such. We might have a small farm out there, we might do, or something where the youngsters can come and really explore nature as such, because it's one of the most deprived communities in the UK. I'm not really ashamed of that, but we're going to turn it into a positive as such.
And if there's a story you'd like us to look into, then you can contact the news team either through the Facebook or Twitter pages, or email news@estuary.tv or call 01472 315 553. So do let us know what's happening in your area. Well, still to come on the show, we'll have the region's business news and the latest in the local sports news. Now, many of you may recognise the name Lucy Beaumont. She is originally from Hull and she's an award-winning comedian and playwright. She won the BBC Radio New Comedy Award in 2012 and was a finalist on So You Think You're Funny in 2011. Lucy returns to her home city in March for a final performance of her stage show We Can Twerk It Out. Well, who better to send to meet her than George Kavanagh? He's no stranger for Estuary viewers, for he's the ambassador for St Andrew's Hospice and was the face of the Grimsby Monopoly Board. And he's an up-and-coming comedian himself.
But do you ever do comedy acting? Do you have a bit of a flat audience that don't really get the jokes or don't laugh?
Always.
Really?
Yeah, well, yeah. Where have I had? Peterborough. Yeah, it takes a lot. Well, sometimes you can win them around and then sometimes there's just nothing you can do with it and you have to move on. But you have to have that. They can't all be brilliant. The main thing is to learn from it, is to work out, was it you or was it just... Sometimes, you know, it's been a wet day or, you know, there'll be a few people that you couldn't get in the car park or wherever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's nothing you can do.
And it's nice to always have the audience on your side and laughing.
Yeah.
You could be a good comedian, you could be a serious comedian, you could be Tim Vine, Miranda Hart. You could be anyone. And we all have different sort of humours and different style of jokes.
Yeah.
And like Tim Vine, he's just a quick-fire comedian who will just go joke after joke after joke. But I kind of like mine in chronological order. Yeah. Like they're happening in order. I don't know about you.
Yeah, well, I do. I think mine are like I try to write like actual gags with a punchline, and sometimes I find actually that maybe is a bit too much because sometimes it's good to sort of build up to it, you know, and have a bit of a story and then have punchlines within it. I've never quite been able to master that. I think have you heard of Les Dawson?
No, I haven't, no.
You'll have to have a look on YouTube. Okay. Your family will know Les Dawson.
I'm pretty sure the world will know everything.
Does he? But he's a bit old school, you know, and there's people like Bernard Manning who you shouldn't look at because they're just racist. But a lot of the older style comedians who started off in the working man's clubs, they were just gags, you know, just like you'd get out of a Christmas cracker, really, but bit ruder, you know, but they'd have just a setup and a punchline, and I like that.
Yeah.
Tommy Cooper, have you heard of Tommy Cooper?
Yeah, I have, but I've never really listened to any of his jokes. I've only heard of him.
No, yeah, well, he crops up on, especially Christmas and stuff, on on stuff. But have a look at Tommy Cooper. But he said that the best joke is a surprise and a funny picture, and that's what all jokes should do. When you listen to a joke, it should be a surprise at the end,
really.
And then you have a funny picture in your head. And if you think about it, it is really. But
well, it is, to be honest.
Yeah, I use that rule if I'm writing something, and it does work. Sometimes I'll think you don't get a funny, you know, or you don't get a surprise. Then I've been it. If you make everybody laugh all the time, you're doing something wrong.
Definitely.
Yeah, just make those few people laugh.
I mean, really, the only really old-fashioned, old-school comedians that have made people laugh in our school is Laurel and Hardy.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And you wouldn't want to do you wouldn't want to and look at them now. But no, just, I think by the sounds of it, you're doing everything right. You've found things that make you laugh, and that's the most important thing.
Well, I suppose so, really, because to be a good comedian, you need to think, well, if it makes me laugh, surely it must make the world laugh.
I mean, if you carry on doing it, and it sounds like you've got the bug, it takes years. It takes just hours and hours of stage time. So the more times you can get up, and it doesn't matter if it's just in front of friends or family, the more time you stood up doing it, the better you get.
Oh, George, you're a character. Well, stay with us, as coming up after the break, we'll have the region's business news.
Coming up in the business news, a new £900,000 visitor centre for Spurn Point is set to be built, and market traders are needed in North Lincolnshire. We'll have more a little later.
We'll bring you all the latest in local sports news and results.
And in sport, I'll have news of Hull City midfielder Isaac Hayden, who might not be leaving after all. There's news of a big Chelsea name who might miss their cup clash with Scunthorpe, and why Hull FC's Scott Taylor is looking forward to pre-season.
Welcome back. You're watching Estuary News. Still to come, we bring you the latest business news for the region, and we'll have the latest local sports news and results. Now it's back to George Kavanagh at Hull Truck for part 2 of his interview with Hull comedian Lucy Beaumont.
I guess you feel comfortable in your hometown telling jokes because you feel like you're just talking to your family.
Yeah, well, you mostly are, aren't you?
Well, I started off just telling jokes to my family and friends.
Yeah, well, that's how
We've
it...
all got to start somewhere.
Well, that's how it starts with everyone, really.
To be a confident comedian, I find that it's better to move around while you're doing your act, and sometimes even do actions to give the audience a better picture.
Yeah.
So even the thick ones get a kind of an idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, you get some comedians at the Apollo that'll just stand there and the guy walks into the bar, ouch, and they won't do much.
Yeah.
And they'll just kind of stand there and tell the jokes and the audience aren't as active as they'd normally be.
No.
But I find moving around and doing actions a whole lot easier.
Yeah, definitely. It's just, like you said before, it just depends what type of comedy you want to do, doesn't it?
Now, I do have one question for you. My mum thinks I'm weird because I never get nervous when I'm doing anything, when I'm doing acting. I don't think I'll even be nervous when I go on Britain's Got Talent, but my question for you is, do you ever get nervous?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's adrenaline, isn't it?
Well, I suppose so.
I was told you had to, but you're probably great if you don't. But yeah, I used to... I've got a bit better, but I used to literally shake like a leaf.
So, my other question is, as a child, do you remember yourself as a child?
Vaguely.
What do you think as a child that you would have got this far in life?
I mean, no, I never thought I'd be sat here talking to you, John.
Oh, thank you very much.
But no, I don't... Yeah, actually, I knew I was going to do something like this.
Really?
Yeah.
So, was you always a bit of a joker as a child,
Yeah.
or was you more of a shy one?
No, I was a joker. Yeah.
You can't beat a joker though, can you?
No, you can't, no.
You can't. Do you have any advice for comedians like me or someone like me who want to be really good at telling jokes and everything? Do you have any advice?
But you just have to keep doing it. You have to just do where you can, you know, like you're doing.
Yeah.
Any chance you can get, you know, like if there's especially like comedy nights, you know, that for charity and stuff like that, put your own on, you know.
Yeah.
Get someone to help organise it and get some. There's plenty of comics, like even just in Hull and Grimsby and stuff like that, who could, you know. I think Kevin Bridges, he started, I think he was like 14, something like that, yeah. And the only way he could get into the clubs was his dad had to take him because he was too young, you know. So, you know, you can start off early. And he had years on everybody else because he'd already been doing it sort of. Most comics start at 18, 21, maybe late 20s. and he'd been already doing it 5 years before a lot of them. So just keep doing it, yeah.
Now, as we already know, you do have quite a lot of awards that you've won, but is there any that particularly stand out to you?
Well, I've only won a couple, but so the BBC one really helped me. It gave me a peg up, really. That's a great one to do. I don't know what the age is for that, you know. I don't know if it has to. Yeah, you want to have a look. But that is a great one to do, yeah.
I was nominated for Pride of Britain this year, but sadly I didn't get through. But you know, it's worth a try, isn't it? So I've heard you've been on the Jonathan Ross show. Is that right?
I have, yeah.
Brilliant. What's it like? I hope the sofa's comfy.
No, it was petrifying. I was only standing in for Catherine Tate. She was ill.
What a star George is, and we hope to bring you more of George's celebrity interviews later this year. And Lucy Beaumont can be seen at Hull Truck on March the 17th, and due to popular demand, another date has been added, and that's on May the 23rd. Now it's time for this week's business news for East Yorkshire and Lincolnshire.
See?
Campaigners are warning that a planning application for a new £900,000 visitor centre for Spurn Point will face opposition. Yorkshire Wildlife Trust is planning to build on a site in Kilnsea and are expecting it will attract over 60,000 visitors, but opponents insist it is in the wrong location. Elsewhere, a group of MPs are continuing to campaign for a £1.2 billion flood defence scheme for the Humber. Cleethorpes MP Martin Vickers and neighbouring MPs are meeting with high-profile ministers responsible for the environment in the coming weeks. They are calling on the government to agree to the investment over 17 years in the wake of major flooding across the country. North Lincolnshire Council is backing a national campaign, Clean for the Queen, by asking local people and community groups and businesses to rally together and join in the big clean-up. This has been launched by Country Life magazine in partnership with Keep Britain Tidy to clear up Britain in time for the Queen's 90th birthday in 2016. The aim is to inspire 1 million people to take action litter picking to make the places where they live more enjoyable and instill a sense of pride in their communities.
We all know as we walk down our streets and we will see a piece of litter and some people walk past it, some people pick it up. What we're encouraging people is, first of all, people not to drop it in the first place, but more importantly, if they see any litter, actually to pick it up safely and deposit it in the right place, so we can all feel that North Links is a brighter, better place to live and work.
A Hull-based company is sharing the lessons learned from a social media campaign that is leading the way in protecting young people throughout the region. Social marketing agency Eskimo Soup is inviting representatives from public services and related organisations to attend a case study presentation called Not in Our Community, a campaign aimed at helping young people protect themselves and their friends from sexual exploitation. The event is free to attend and will take place on Wednesday the 10th of February. And not one for resolutions, but looking for a change, North Lincolnshire Council is on the lookout for more people to take their hand to trading at its iconic markets. The council is looking for traders to join any of its markets across North Lincolnshire, including the Old Hall at Scunthorpe Market and Ashby Market. And that's the latest from the business news.
Joining me to tell us what's been happening this week so far is Dan Kemp. Dan, what's been in the headlines that caught your eye?
Well, the first story is actually a bit of a news update that we've got this afternoon, and this is that the McDonald's shooting from Saturday in Hull. There's been an update on that. That's at 1 p.m. yesterday, which was obviously the January the 5th. A 22-year-old man was arrested in West Hull for attempted murder using a firearm. And the second person is now wanted in connection with the same incident, and Humberside Police have released a name and a photograph of the person, which you'll be able to see on our Facebook page if you have a look on there. Okay. He's called Liam Windass of Rosedale Close in Hull, and he's 5 foot 8 inches tall, short straight hair, and has a scar on his left eye. And police are asking people not to approach him and to call 999.
Okay, and just to add, probably by the time some of these show tonight is repeated, the police may have caught him.
Exactly. Let's hope so. Yep, the next story, this is the famous Ronnie Pickering moped rider, Steve Middleton.
Right.
Everyone knows this video. Well, there's a sequel. A sequel, yep.
Sounds like a movie.
It's not Do You Know Who I Am now, it's I'll Crack You.
Oh.
He's had another incident, this time with a HGV driver, on Stonefree Road in East Hull. And that's been released on YouTube, on his YouTube account. And
will it get to the point where they'll think this chap's
making it up?
I don't know, going around either antagonising people to make these videos, or is it...
I suppose he's got the video evidence, hasn't he? So
well, he has, I suppose.
He's got that on his side.
I've not seen it, so I really can't pass comment.
And he's recently been voted top internet meme of 2015 as well, for his original piece. His original piece of art, obviously.
Brilliant. Well, unfortunately, that is all we've got time for, but I presume everybody will now be rushing to YouTube to go and have a look for it.
So will I. Out of favour Hull City loanee Isaac Hayden may still have a future with the club. It was widely reported that the midfielder was set to be recalled to his parent club Arsenal after a lack of game time at the Tigers, allowing him to move elsewhere within the Championship. But now, according to the Hull Daily Mail today, Fulham, who were interested in signing him, have cooled their interest, meaning he's still training with City and could be involved in their FA Cup game against Brighton on Saturday. And elsewhere, Hull's Championship rivals Derby County have signed Reading forward Nick Blackman, that on a 3.5-year deal. Chelsea forward Radamel Falcao is working hard to prove his full fitness ahead of their FA Cup tie with Scunthorpe United on Sunday. However, the Colombian forward is still expected to be out for another week, according to London24.com, meaning it's still looking less likely he'll feature in the game at Stamford Bridge. Meanwhile, Craig Pawson has been announced as the referee for the game. Grimsby Town hope to finally find out their FA Trophy second-round opponents on Wednesday evening. Western Supermare face Wealdstone in the rearranged first-round replay for the chance to visit Blundell Park on Saturday the 16th of January. And recent Hull FC signing Scott Taylor is counting down the days to the first games of his Hull FC career. The Black and Whites get their pre-season fixtures underway next weekend against Doncaster, but he's also looking further ahead to when FC face Hull KR and Salford in the following two games, both amongst his former side. That's all the sport for now. You can get in contact in the usual ways by emailing sport@estuary.tv or by giving us a call on Grimsby 01472 31553. And that's all from the sport.
That's it for tonight. If you have a news story, visit our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472 315 553. Until tomorrow, good night.
Estuary TV weather, sponsored by Rix Petroleum, your local family-owned heating oil supplier this winter.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Thursday will be cloudy with occasional heavy rain, becoming drier but feeling chilly with highs of 7 degrees. Friday windy with heavy showers.
Rix, servicing the region's oil boilers this winter from a name you can trust. Get in touch at rix.co.uk or call us on 01482 838383.